Hi, it's Jez here from Nigezza.co.uk, and I'm here with another of my junk journal series. And last week I made these tags, and I got them out of a sheet of A4, so they kind of went like that on the sheet of A4, and they're backed on coffee dyed paper and sewn before my sewing machine died. And what I did was I made a masterboard. So I ripped up lots and lots of things that I'd printed off the internet that were copyright free. And I made this masterboard by ripping the stuff up, and then I scanned it so that I've saved this so that I can use it over and over again. And I really liked the mix of things that I had managed to sort of collect digitally. And so then once I'd done that bit, I then added some other bits to it to sort of have a second stage of a masterboard. So I added sort of different stamps and other images. This map had all these little images around the edge of the map, and I thought they were quite cool. And then once I'd done that, so again I've scanned that so that it's, I can use it again. So then I cut that into the 6 tags, like so, and they again I can reuse them at that stage. And then I embellished them, and I've scanned the embellished versions as well, so they can get cut up, used again, and like embellished further on top. So that's the actual size. This was before they got sewn. So what I did was, my sewing machine died. I bought a new sewing machine, and I practiced with these, and it really isn't. I took it back. The tension was all out. So I'm probably going to scan these now that they're sewn as well. So I've got another sort of version of them. And then what I did was I did a smaller version of the undecorated tags and a smaller version of the decorated tags, and then I reduced them again. So I've got, out of that exercise, I've got quite a lot of sort of digitals that I can reuse, and I wanted to do it so that I could send it to my niece, who really has nothing and got really into it on a holiday she spent with me. So I wanted to sort of give her some things to be getting on with. I shared this on some junk journaling groups, and people really liked it. So I thought, I'll show you what I did. Now, this was the first time that I'd done any sort of masterboard. So we are now going to see my second one. So let me just move all my rubbish out the way. Put that on the floor next to me. So these are the images. So this is the same stack of images. You can see where I've used. So this was a page from the New York. Well, it just says New York, but I don't know if that's the name of the paper. And this was 1859. So quite an old piece of paper, September the 24th. I think it might be September the 24th today. How weird. There we go. This was a large piece, and I like this with the font and also this beautiful sort of foliage. This was another piece here. Can't remember, can't see a date on this, but I liked these images, and I took one of the men to be the focal point of one of the tags. This was the map. Beautiful colours on this map, and I have taken off all the images that were around it. Loved this bit of it's like a geisha girl, isn't it? I just loved the colours. I loved the Chinese writing. This I liked, that had the Eiffel Tower on, but I do like these sort of imageries. This was a bit of sort of textured paper, so quite like that. So I got those, and then I kept all the bits that I'd sort of cut up, so they're all in here that I can use. Here's some sort of letters, and then all those images that were around that map, I just ripped them and inked round them, so they're here ready to just go. So yeah, so these were the bits. So some of these I can use as backgrounds, the sort of lighter colours, and the ones with colour in would be more for after I'm embellishing. And this is what I made the top of the tags out of, the sort of hole reinforcers. So I might keep that for that. That was quite a good thing to use for that. So yes, those are for embellishing afterwards. So I'm just going to carry on with these bits here for making my sort of initial masterboard. So I'm going for sort of quite neutral colours. These are quite good. Obviously, I took the bottom of her dress for one of the tags. So what I started with was a bit of coffee stain paper. I thought that was quite a good sort of backing for it, so it's still quite light, so that it could be, I just cut them up into tags straight from that, so that they didn't end up too heavy, because you've got like quite a few layers building up on there. So this was you know, quite a good backing to have. So it was just a case of rip and stick. That's what I call it, and that's what I like, really, is a bit of rip and stick. I've got a ripping ruler, and I'm gonna rip down here. These images are printed on, thicker than normal copy of paper. This is just normal copy of paper, so that's about 90 GSM. This, I can't remember if it's 120 or 140, so it's a bit thicker. So yeah, a bit harder to rip. Let's I kind of find it easier one way than the other. She says struggling both ways. There we go. So rip a bit of that off. We want top edge ripping as well. Oh, I'm going to use the smaller side. Rips really well on the smaller side, and that could be used as well. So sort of quite big bits sort of in the background, so I just sort of lay them out and sort of play with it. Now I quite like that sort of plain in the background a bit there. I know it's got nothing on it, but it will have something on it, and you can use stamps and different things like that to decorate up things. I'm not using stamps because I specifically wanted this to be copyright free. Now that's almost the same colour as the back there, which actually seems daft. I might save that for stamping on later. So we'll use some of this Chinese script like it. So I need to take some of that off. Got a little bit of blue coming in there. I might take that off for this stage. So I want to keep this fairly neutral. At this stage in the game, so we end up with lots of little bits. So I sort of put them off to the side, and then they sort of end up in my little scrap tub. Love this map, just absolutely gorgeous. So nice big bit of map. I really like that round bit. I'd probably fussy cut that out. and that little bit's quite nice as well. Nice big bit of newspaper. I do like that sort of title there, that's really good. Just love that. And then we'll have a bit going down the bottom maybe. So I'm just trying it out. I was watching an Australian junk journaler, and she called it auditioning. So we're just audition it, which I thought was just perfect. Made me chuckle, liked it. So liking the way that's sort of building up. And I think the important thing is to choose sort of colours that go well together. So I'm sort of choosing all sort of neutrals here, and they're all sort of a similar tone, so that they do sort of blend in together and go quite well together. So love that bit of script, and I do love that little bit of foliage there. So I'm going to use my metal ruler here for this. Give it a nice straight rip there. So we've got sort of like greens sort of through it. Putting that over there for the little bit there. I've got bits of writing here. That'll fit in there nicely actually, won't it? Bit of a check here. So I've got a couple of long strips, a long strip that I need down there, and two little bits here and there. So what I did on some of them is like I bent them over, so we'll get to that in a bit. So I might put him down the bottom there. So that fills that little section there up. We want a long section there. Or we move this over so it's on the edge. See if we can't. That might sort of fill up nicely without that. So we still have these two bits there. We can put a bit of that over there. See, I can print more of these off without any issue whatsoever because I've got these saved. So I've got those lovely signatures there. It's a nice long bit. I'm wondering actually, because there was quite a lot of script together, if I put that down there. that'll work. So I'm thinking that that is the basis really of this masterboard. So what I'm going to do now is that one, you can see it's all inked around and there's a bit of foldedness. So what I'm doing is sort of distressing this a bit further. So give it a bit of a fold and then come in with some ink to just sort of ink the edges so that it looks like it's been sat for a while. And then I just inked around. I was going to try this without inking and I forgot, and also I can't not ink really, so that's a bit better. Love these signatures. I think that was just amazing. Representative Journals and Journalists of America. So a lot of these I got from, so there was two sources I think I've used for this little bunch. So one was the Smithsonian's in Washington. They've got loads and loads of stuff that are now in the public domain, so you can download them and print them and use them. And also a site called Raw Pixel. Raw Pixel limits you to how many downloads a day. I think it's about 10, and once you reach that limit they stop you. So I think for about a week I went on and downloaded those. It does take quite ages because you've got to do searches and put in what you're looking for, so it does take quite a while to do it, but I just do it whilst I'm watching telly and pick things and download them. There's no limit with the Smithsonian, so I did a lot of script in that, and newspaper and travel. I think it was different things I sort of looked at, and I was so excited because we went to Washington last summer and went in the Smithsonian's. Well, not all of them, gosh, so many, and free. It's amazing. And so it was it's like I might have seen some of these things when I was looking through. Now on these old documents you can kind of see where they were actually folded, so you can put those folds back in. So just go around these rough edges. I'm going to cover that other edge. That's going to get covered, so you're not going to see it. That's going to get covered by this one. So I'm going to do another one. I've been cutting up a book. Oh, two books in fact. And one of them's got some amazing images in it. So obviously that one then I won't be scanning. I mean, it's okay if it's for personal use, but I might just make some for my niece and send her them. Because there's so many in it that I'll go on forever. Love the top of this. There we go. So that one just needs that top edge. The rest of it's been inked. So I just think it adds to it when you put some creases in. Makes it look a little bit more aged and authentic. Not that there's anything authentic about one of these masterboards, but you know, hey ho. Oh, I didn't put anything in that. Right. Oh! Okay. So I'm going to just glue this down, and to glue it down I might speed it up. But before I do that, I'm just going to use a glue stick. That's what I used. I wasn't sort of too trusting on glue sticks, but the other one seems to stick fine. So I'm using this glue stick, quite inexpensive. Got it from the range. And it just means you can get to the edges. I'm using a idea from Pam from the Paper Outpost, and she says just use like a magazine or whatever. This is a Stampin' Up catalogue, of which I have loads, and that are, you know, out of date now, and it means that you can glue right up to the edges and then obviously stick it down. Oh, I don't want to stick, I want to stick this one down first, don't I? Oh no, I'm going to put that on. So that's going to go there. I'll stick this on there. So all the edges are stuck down, and then I would glue some more on that, but once it gets too gluey, you just rip it out. I then fold it over and use this little bit to glue on, and then I keep folding it up until eventually I chuck it away, and then I use this. So it's a good way of keeping limited, minimizing the sort of spread of the glue. Okay, I'm going to carry on now. So that's my masterboard all stuck down, and as the as I sort of moved it into place and stuck it down, there was a few sort of gaps appeared, so I just filled them up. There's bits here of the underpaper showing, but these are going to be the edges of the tags, so I may well put things on those anyway, but I quite like it. Now if there's some odd bits sticking up, I'm just going round with a bit of glue so they can get stuck down. And as I cut them up into tags, that's not stuck very well at all. Then I stick the edges down, but that is a nice little masterboard. So I'm going to go and scan that so that I can reuse this, and then we'll add some bits to it. I will eventually cut it up, but I'm going to scan it for now. So I've been and scanned it. So I've now got, so this, what I do is I put it under the scanner and I print it directly from the scanner, and then I save the scanned image on my MacBook. And there is a slight difference in the colour between the scanned image and the one that's straight from the image, if you so photocopy and scan, but it's okay. I've tried every setting on my printer and I can't get, it says it's borderless, but it's clearly not, and there's not a lot I can do about that, but it's good enough. It's good enough. So that's now set that I can use that for other things. Right, so now what I did was sort of adding bits to this. So I've got my little box here that's got some of those sort of more colourful bits that I could that I could add. So I love these. These are just great, and I will be printing that map off again, even if it's just for these little edge bits that I can put on, because they'd be great for little clusters. But they're absolutely fabulous for sticking on. I've got a little stamp here that can go on. I've got some sort of black and white images as well that I've sort of grunged up, which I thought were quite nice. I might just use those with toppings on tags. Really like that. So yeah, it was sort of like breaking up some of these blander areas, give it a little bit more colour. Might put that there, sort of cover that sort of joint. That joint there, I don't like it, it's too straight. Put that there. I might have some other things that can go on there from some of these images. That geisha woman, I could take some bits off that, nice and colourful. There's quite a big space there. I could put something on, although I could cut it up and actually it wouldn't be a big space. So let's just, the others are all inked up, but this one isn't. Let's give this bit of an ink up. That's actually quite there. A bit too straight lined, I thought. So stick that there. Just so we've got a little bit of something else on there. Can put that on there. And then I'm not actually sure where the cut lines are going to go. So if it goes one, so that gets split into 4, so there'll be a bit of that on one and a bit on the other, and then I could have this as the 2, or that as the 2, going that way. I could always cut the tags slightly differently, but I quite like that, so we'll give those a little stick down. So you can put lots of thought into it, or you can just do it. And I personally think just do it, because you're going to cut it up and not necessarily know where all these bits are going to go anyway. So I think it's just quite nice to have these sort of like 2 versions of a masterboard, a plainer one and then one with a bit more sort of colour into it. Probably off camera there, doing that bit. I love these checks. I don't know if they're checks. They look like checks. That reminds me of a candlestick, but I think it's a pillar of some sort. That's down. Little stamp. I've got loads of stamps. Actual stamps. This is obviously a scan of a stamp. Can't get that up now. I need to change this. There was glue on the top side of that. There, I've got space there. So we'll get this stuck down and then we'll scan it again. So that will do. So we'll just so that's a few little extra bits added. So I will get that scanned and then we'll start making it into a tag. So I've been down and I've scanned it and printed it, so I've got that now stored on my back book so I can print that out and use it again. So now I'm going to cut out my tags. So what I did, so I need to I cut it in half, so I've got this marked up. So this is UK A4, so I cut it in half at 5 7/8, and then I cut, that's half again, but we need to cut a little bit off. I can't remember what I did. I cut 2 inches off. I think I cut 2 inches off the bottom. No, I cut 2 1/4 inches off the bottom. To give me that size tag there, and then these in half there, which is 2 7/8. So I might, for this one, use that top bit as the side of the tag. So that's how I got my 6 tags. Oh, I must have cut that wrong somehow, although it doesn't really matter. So that is my tags. So there should have been 4 the same width, so I don't quite know what I did wrong cutting this. Misremembered somehow. And then we've got 2 thin ones, and then I have cut myself some chipboard. Thought I'd put it in there with sort of tag top shapes on it, make it easier for cutting them. Now I can't actually find it. It fell on the floor. So this is sort of my sort of guide here. Just some people use, I've seen some people use like a credit card, and I did use that, but kind of got in a bit of a pickle with it, and so I thought, well, this is easier. So I take a pair of scissors and I can just cut it across. And then that cuts our tags quite nicely. And it doesn't matter if the tag's not as wide, because I can just move it, which saves that sort of twisting that you sometimes have to do. I say these tags are smaller, but I just do that, move it across, do that, still all right, although that's quite steep. I might not like that. Might not like that. I actually don't like that. So I'm going to make that smaller. I am going to go to my credit card, I think. Well, it's not credit card. It's a, I don't know what it is. Some loyalty card that's expired. I've got a smaller one on there. Oh, it's a bingo card. So I think I'll go for that little one. I've got it in different shapes. Not sure I like that. Maybe I do want the deeper one. There, I'm sure it's fine. So that is our tag shapes, and what I did was scanned these as well. Oh, I forgot, before I scan it, I want to ink up the edges, so all the edges of the tag are inked. So I might speed this up for you. So there we are. So they're scanned, ready to use another time. So now to decorate them. So I've got some bits in here, and I've got some left on these sheets. think that might be what I'm going with. So there's just that one there that needs inking. There we go. Right, so I'm going to get those stuck down, and I'll do that a little bit faster. So that's the tags all finished, apart from the fastenings at the top. So what I'm going to do for that is I'll fold this over, and I've got a 1/2 inch circle punch here. So I'm going to punch myself 6 circles to stick. I'm going to just ink a little bit round them. My friend said, it wouldn't take you half as long as if you didn't ink them all. I was like, yeah, where's the fun of that? I have got some hole reinforcers on a sheet, sticky ones, and I was just gonna ink them on the sheet, but can I find them? Nope, I really can't. So I'm just making them. I'll do. So I'm gonna stick these in. Oh, before I do that, missed a bit that I want to do. Don't want to come off. Get off. Goodness sake. So use a bit of this to make the bits at the top. So I'll show you. So what I made was some little strips at the top before I put the circles on and punched the holes. So I just cut myself a strip. So let's cut that white bit off. Didn't do that very well. I'll do. So we want to go 1/2 inch. Don't want to go 1/2 inch. The holes are 1/2 inch. So we'll go. Did I go 3/4? That will do. And then we want to go 1.5 inches. So 4.5, 3, 1.5. So I think I did him at 1.5. Fold them in half, and then that circle go on there, like so. So then that will stick on the top there. That's just the way I did this fastening, and I thought that was quite nice. So I thought I'd show you what I'm doing. So for each of these 1.5 by 3/4 inch strips, I am centering these circles in the middle of the square that it forms. So then when I punch the hole in, oh, I wondered where the other circle had gone. I got another one because I couldn't find it. So when I punch the hole, should go through the middle of both of them, in theory. And then I'm just putting glue on both sides of this to put it at the top of the tag, and then I sort of centre it in that top bit. So that's how I did all the tops of those tags. And then I took my crocodile, and on the bigger side, that seems to have got a bit stuck in there. That's a bit better. So then I'll go to this one at the bottom that's probably drier. So then I just kind of centre that in the middle to poke my hole, and it went through the centre on both sides quite well. And then I take a little brad, they're not brads, eyelets, and I stick that in the middle and crunch it. Ooh. And that's me tag done. So I shall get on and finish all those, and then you can see the finished product. I'll do them in quick time. So that's my tags finished. So that's that one. That one. That one. So I quite like them. And so they've just got the plain coffee dyed on the back, so I could do some stamping and what have you on the back there. And I will scan them again now that they're decorated, so that I could print them off, and then could add some more decoration to them, and I can send them then to my niece. So she's now got 12 tags, and she can resize them as well. So hope you found that useful. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and so now I've got 12 tags to go in my journal. So yeah, I will put pictures on my blog, nigezza.co.uk. I will link down below, and yeah, I shall continue, and I hope you're enjoying my little journey into junk journaling as much as I am. Okay, see you again soon. Bye.